provide community. Shall I start over again? Okay. Good evening, everybody. And thank you for joining us. I'm Georgia Verdier, president of the Elmira Corning branch of the NAACP. The NAACP is an advocacy organization with a vision and mission focused on justice and equality for all mankind, together with efforts and desires to provide community service. The organization has 21 game changers or standing committees. However, tonight the focus will be on 2, education and healthcare, utilizing the theme winter wellness and physical activities. It is Black History Month, and culturally many of us prepare rich calorie-loaded foods, which is okay. However, regardless of our cultural norms, it is imperative that we strive to become and remain physically fit. So tonight, we have assembled a panel from the Food Bank of the Southern Tier to share some important information on preparing for and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. So at this time, I have the pleasure of introducing to some and presenting to others our moderator for the evening, Mr. Matthew Griffin, Director of Health and Nutrition, Food Bank of the Southern Tier, Elmira, New York. Mr. Griffin, it is your time.
Thanks, Georgia, for the introduction. It's a real pleasure to be with you all here this evening to talk about winter wellness as part of Black History Month. Food brings people together. Physical activity is great for the body, and it lifts the spirit. Before we hear from our speakers this evening, I'd like to invite Elder Willie Jackson to provide us with an invocation.
Good evening. As you see, the name says Denise Jackson. That's my wife. However, I'm Elder Willie Jackson, and I have been blessed to open with prayer. And I will start with Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you that you are the source of all of our true joy. Joy in life. Help us to find our joy in you. Give us clear minds and peaceful hearts as we gather together at this moment on this occasion. May your peace be in our hearts, your grace be in our words, your love be in our hands, and your joy be in our souls. Guide us, cheer us, calm us, protect us, and arm us whichever way you may lead us. Let everything we do be done to your honor and your glory. We thank you, Lord. Order our steps, and we give you the glory, the honor, and all of the praise. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Elder Jackson. Now I'd like to invite Ms. Susa Ellison to give us a formal welcome.
Good evening. I'm having a problem with my video, so bear with me. But I'd like to welcome all of our virtual audience to our program, Winter Wellness and Physical Activities. We are so excited to have the Food Bank of the Southern Tier as our presenters this evening. Since health and healthy living is one of the game chambers of the NAACP, we feel that it is proper and fitting to bring to you this very important presentation. Our bodies should be physically healthy, as our souls should be spiritually healthy. So our president, Georgia Verdier, and the executive committee members of the Elmira Corning branch of the NAACP welcome you and thank you for taking the time to join us and be a participant in this event. We believe that you will be enlightened and will take away some very helpful advice that will enable us to live an active, healthy life. Again, welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Ellison. At this time, I'm going to put up our slideshow. So bear with me as I load it onto our screen. You should be able to see a welcome page, Winter Wellness with the Food Bank of the Southern Tier. Excellent. So we're really excited. This evening, you'll hear from some of my food bank colleagues. We're going to be discussing programs that support healthy eating. Plus, we'll have a cooking demonstration and a sample of physical and social activities for your consideration. Here's a gallery of our health and nutrition team. Not a bad looking crew, right? You'll see some of us on the screen today. All of us are here except for Maggie Zagila, our SNAP outreach coordinator for Skylar. Unfortunately, she can't join us, but we'll make sure that information from her is presented. We like our time tonight to be interactive. We have a slideshow that has a great deal of information, a video, and some poll questions, so stay on your toes. You are most welcome to write questions in the chat box, and for most of you, that should be located at the bottom of your screen. There's a little box there, and you can type in questions. I'll be keeping an eye for questions, and I will relay them to the speakers. For any questions that we can't get to, we'll make sure we find a way to get the answers to you and send them to you afterwards. So at this point, I would like to jump right in. And to kick us off, Mara Benner, our JSY Community Health and Nutrition Coordinator, will talk to us a little bit about the Food Bank of the Southern Tier and its connection to public health. Mara?
Thank you, Matt, and good evening, everyone. It's so great to be here speaking with all of you. So as Matt mentioned, I am going to start us off just to say, so who are we? Who is the Food Bank of the Southern Tier? So our mission is working together to build and sustain hunger-free communities throughout the Southern Tier. So we are stationed in Elmira, New York, and we service a 6-county service region. Those counties include Broome, Chemung, Schuyler, Steuben, Tioga, and Tompkins counties. And there is an estimated about 67,000 food insecure households within our service region, according to our Map the Meal Gap resources that we have. So what do we do here at the food bank? So the best way to think of us is that we are the wholesaler of emergency food. So we get the food in bulk via a couple different methods. So we have donated product that comes in. We have government provided foods, such as those from the Emergency Food Assistance Program, otherwise known as TFAP, and also wholesale food that we purchase. So we use our purchasing power to then help provide these foods to our partner agencies and partner pantries at a reduced cost. So we are not directly giving our foods to clients or anybody who needs to utilize the emergency food system. Our food is being provided to the organizations that will then be providing the food to clients. So there's a bit of a step before the food gets to clients directly from us. But in addition to providing foods to different partners, we also facilitate a bunch of different programs, such as mobile food pantries, the Kids Backpack Program, and Kids Farmers Markets. And additionally, we at the Food Bank do a lot of different work in advocacy efforts, such as around different emergency food topics like SNAP benefits, free universal school meals, and state funding for pantries. We also provide a whole lot of support to agencies in various ways through our Community Impact Department, which we are also a part of. And then we here in Health and Nutrition do a whole lot of stuff as well, which we're going to talk about. All right, so how ultimately does food banking relate to public health? So the health triangle defines health as having a balance of mental, physical, and social health. And the food bank services really touch all of these different topics. So I think most explicitly, we probably fall into the physical health edge of this triangle with our commitments to helping to ensure healthy eating. So at the food bank, we have a nutrition policy around the foods that we provide to pantries, meaning that we emphasize foods such as fresh fruits and vegetables, lean proteins like chicken or fish, and whole grain products. So those different kinds of products. And this helps ensure that the food bank is doing our part to ensure that we are not contributing to the worsening of overall health of the populations that we serve with our food, and that we are helping to work improved overall nutritional quality. Additionally, our programming such as nutrition education, medically and population tailored food programs, and SNAP outreach also fall into this physical health category. But emergency food banking and the emergency food system in general also fit into the mental and social edges of the triangle. And this is because first, emergency or food insecurity can take a large mental toll on those who are experiencing it. And access to a robust emergency food resources can help to alleviate this mental burden. And emergency food also helps to, by doing this, alleviate the burden of competing demands. So if folks who require food services come to our partner pantries, they can have more peace of mind with having access to their different food resources. Additionally, work in emergency food often has a strong social component, and that is whether you're volunteering, if you're receiving resources, or if you're participating in our programming, such as our nutrition education classes. So additionally, we also fall into these three categories because we help to facilitate community outreach events at pantry distributions that touch a variety of different health topics. And as we continue with this presentation, we're going to see a whole bunch of different ways that we also contribute to these different edges of the triangle.
Thank you, Mara. Thanks for giving us a nice foundation about the Food Bank of the Southern Tier. Our second speaker is Mary Laurie, our SNAP outreach coordinator for Chemung County, who's had many years experiencing helping connect people with SNAP resources, formerly known as food stamps. Mary will share with us how SNAP helps our communities access healthy food.
Hello, thank you, Matt. My name is Mary, and as Matt stated, I'm the SNAP Outreach Coordinator here in Chemung County. My coworker Maggie, who is the SNAP Outreach Coordinator in Schuyler County, is not able to be here, but the both of us, our job duties are the same in each county. We go to different locations to inform people about SNAP and provide free confidential pre-screenings. We go to places like food pantries, mobile food pantries, WIC offices, Department of Social Service building, any type of event that someone invites us to that has people that are going to be attending it that may be eligible for SNAP. We will go there, set up a table, do free pre-screenings. If they are eligible or they appear to be eligible, we will assist them through the application process. We can make copies of them for them of their documents. We can do an online application that we submit directly to DSS on their behalf, as well as paper applications. Many people are eligible for SNAP that aren't even aware of the fact that they're eligible. There are people that are seniors that are on fixed incomes that can tap and utilize the SNAP program. There are disabled people. There are people that are working full-time and part-time that still may be eligible for the SNAP program. Individuals that are homeless can get SNAP, as well as people in domestic violence shelters, college students. So it's just a wide range of people that are potentially eligible. So that's why we go to all these different events so that we can be there, pre-screen, if they're eligible, help them through the process. Next screen, Matt. Here we have Maggie's, this is my SNAP card. If you want to receive a copy of it, it can be used to show on your website. If you want me to ever drop off stacks of cards at businesses or agencies so that they can be distributed to people, I can do that in Chemung County. Maggie can do that in Schuyler County. They give people an idea of the guidelines that they have to fall within. And if they do fall within those guidelines, we then check a variety of things like what they pay out in allowable expenses, which are mortgages, taxes, rent, utilities, phone bills, prescription costs. All of those things play a role in the amount of benefit you're going to receive based on what you have going out. Okay, next one, Matt. Are people able to see the poll now?
Oh, I'll do that in a moment, Mary. Sorry, I do have two questions in the chat. One
Okay.
is, do you reach out to homebound and the elderly?
Yes. So we work through Hunger Solutions in Albany, New York. And what they do is they give us a variety of campaigns to follow throughout the year. Those campaigns usually focus on different groups of people for like 7 or 8 weeks. And at that point, we reach out to those people. However, we can't assist anybody throughout the entire year, but they do focal points. As far as home visits, neither of us do home visits, but the good thing is currently the Department of Social Services is allowing phone interviews, as well as when we do an application or even just a pre-screening with people, we're able to do it over the phone. So as long as someone has access to a phone, they can call us. We can check to see if they're eligible. If they're eligible, we can do the application over the phone. We can send that application to the Department of Social Services for them. And then DSS will contact them and go over the application we submitted, ask any questions they have, and let them know how to get documents to them.
Mhm. Another question about the homeless outreach
Mhm.
to those individuals.
Yeah, so I know here in Chemung County, I go to the food pantries because a lot of people that are homeless come there. I've gone to the community kitchen because homeless people go there. At the Samaritan Center, they actually have the people that are homeless and seeking, like to go to the homeless shelter, that come there to sign up for that. So I go there twice a week and I'm able to talk with people there, as well as just letting people know when I do a pre-screening with someone, I always end it with, when it's time for them to recertify, I'm happy to assist them, as well as if they have any friends, family members, neighbors, anyone that they know of that may be struggling with putting enough food in their home, to give them my contact information, and I'd be happy to help them out also.
Thanks, Mary. That's wonderful. And in addition, I would just add, as it relates to food access, a number of food pantries we work with will make deliveries to homebound and elderly. There is a location on our food bank website called Find Food. And if one were to click into that Find Food section, you can call up information by county, and there's specific lists of food pantries and other resources that have deliveries. It's noted on that spreadsheet. And there's also some further information. Mobile food pantries also occasionally provide access to people who are homebound. We have a number of people who do sign up for mobile food distributions that will also pick up for their neighbors who can't get there. So that's one way that food is getting to people who have transportation challenges. So I'm just going to bring up the screen for Maggie's card. Here's Schuyler County, and we can make sure that these go out to you all, so you have a link. And we do have a polling couple questions for you all related to SNAP. So we're going to launch a question and give you a few seconds to answer it.
So these are the questions that are most commonly asked by people that I come encounter with, whether it's at a pantry, at the grocery store. I've been doing this for so long, people recognize my face and have just come up to me at church and the grocery store and say, hey, I have a question. And some of the questions that they ask often, this one is, if I apply to receive SNAP, I will be taking from someone else that may need the benefit more. And of course, I explained to them the answer to this, but did you all put your answer in?
We got 4 responses. We have 13 participants. So food bankers, feel free to also log in or your answer too, if you feel. So this is all anonymous.
Yes.
Mary does not grade anyone. She doesn't take names, at least to
So-
my knowledge.
So the answer to this question is that I inform people you are not taking from somebody else. SNAP is an entitlement program. Any and everyone that is eligible to receive the benefit that falls within those guidelines, they will receive. So definitely you are not taken from someone else. If you don't take what you may be entitled to, then you're just leaving it on the table unused.
Okay. We got 6 out of 7. That's a pretty good percentage. All right, our next question. If I own a home or car, SNAP will put a lien on my property. Is that true or false?
Let me know when you got your answers in there.
Okay.
so that
Oh,
I
it's coming
can-
in strong as false. Holy cow. Wow. That was rapid.
It is false. But do you know, when I first started doing this about 17 years ago, it actually was a fact. If you had a home, there would be a lien. If you had a car that was in excess of a certain value, then they didn't put a lien on your car, but they considered you over the resource
Mhm.
for SNAP benefits. So now though, that was a myth that was a truth that I had to let people know it's now a myth. It no
Yeah.
longer is in existence.
Mhm.
There's not a lien. And the lien, I believe, was for cash assistance, and that's why people associated it with
Gotcha.
any benefits. But the over resource was even if you had a car that was of a certain value, you could have been considered over resource, but not anymore. It's
Not anymore.
open.
Thanks, Mary. And our last question. If I have earned income, I can apply for SNAP. Is that true or false?
That's true. Yes,
Dope.
SNAP is based on a certain number of people in a household and then the amount of income that you receive. They do configuration and a budget worksheet. We can do that as a pre-screener for you. And then if you fall within certain guidelines and you are below the income guideline for the number of people in your household, then you can apply.
Excellent. Thank you, Mary.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Very helpful information. All right. We're going to make a transition from SNAP to a program called Just Say Yes to Fruits and Vegetables, JSY. You probably heard it connected with Mara's title too. JSY provides workshops and cooking resources to people who access food pantries and other programs. And Sam Hansloven is with us tonight. She's our JSY nutrition educator. And Sam will share a quick lesson, a cooking demonstration, and a tasty recipe for you. So take it away, Sam.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everybody. I'm happy to be here with you all today. Just as Matt said, I do JSY nutrition workshops for the food bank. And we're talking about a couple different vitamins today and their importance during the winter. So the first vitamin we're going to talk about is vitamin D. So vitamin D is nicknamed the sunshine vitamin, and that's because it mainly comes from the sun. So some of the functions of vitamin D include calcium and phosphorus regulation. So our body requires vitamin D to be able to absorb the calcium that we're eating in our diet. So the two work very closely together, as well as vitamin D and phosphorus. So we need vitamin D to absorb calcium and phosphorus that we take in through food sources. Vitamin D is also very important in immunity. It's also very important in cell growth and being able to heal from wounds. And another cool fact about vitamin D is that it stores in our liver. So any extra vitamin D that we take in one day that our body doesn't need or doesn't use, we're going to store that in our liver for later use, which is pretty awesome. So vitamin D, again, is called the sunshine vitamin. And that's because we're going to get vitamin D mostly from sun exposure. You only need to be in the sun for about 10 to 15 minutes, a few times a week. However, in the winter time, especially in upstate New York, it's very cold outside. Many of us maybe not appreciate the weather of the winter. And it also gets dark very, very soon. So that could cause some of us who may work indoors to not see the light of day for much of the winter. So because of that, if we're not able to get any sun exposure and make vitamin D that way, then we need to get vitamin D from food sources. And some of the main sources of vitamin D in our diet are going to be liver meat. So again, vitamin D is stored in our liver. So when you eat liver meat of other animals, you're going to eat all those vitamin D stores. Mushrooms, seafood, and this includes fish, shrimp, and then a good source of vitamin D is going to be fortified milk. And what fortified milk is it has added vitamins in it that don't naturally occur in the milk. So generally we add in extra vitamins, extra vitamin D into milk to help the general population's health.
Sam, a question. Can you take in too much vitamin D?
So you cannot take in too much vitamin D from the sun, but you can take in too much vitamin D from food. So what happens when our body has reached our main point of exposure, we've been outside long enough that we've gotten all the vitamin D that we need, is our body will just convert that vitamin D to something called lomestriol, which is an inactive form of it in our body. So your body stops producing vitamin D once you've reached that 10 to 15 minute mark. However, from food sources, you can take in excess vitamin D, which will then be stored in your liver. But if you take in large amounts of vitamin D, it can sometimes cause very mild side effects such as nausea. Great question. Thank you for that. So this vitamin C, is going to relate directly to our recipe today. So vitamin C is also called absorbic acid. You might flip over your vitamin bottle and see the term absorbic acid instead of vitamin C. Just be aware that they go interchangeably by those two terms. Absorbic acid is just the chemical form for it. You might also see that term on the back of a cereal box if they added extra vitamin C into it. So the function of vitamin C includes being an antioxidant. So we hear the term antioxidant quite frequently, and we know that antioxidants are very good for our body. What an antioxidant does is it heals damaged cells in our body and prevents those cells that are damaged from damaging any other cells. Vitamin C also has a function of collagen production. Collagen is a main part of our skin and plays a part in our skin elasticity and our skin barrier. So that's why sometimes you may hear people putting vitamin C cream on their face. And that's to help with collagen production, to help your skin. Vitamin C also can help heal wounds. So unlike vitamin D, vitamin C is what we call water soluble. So we're not going to store any extra vitamin C that we take in our body. We're just going to excrete the extra out through our urine. So it's very important that we get good amounts of vitamin C every single day because our body can't use any of the stored vitamin C from the previous day. And then down at the bottom here, we have how much you need per day, and this will be important when looking at the next slide. Men need 90 milligrams per day and women need 75. Okay, so you can see here are some good sources of vitamin C. Again, men need 95 milligrams. And if you look at the top row there, you'll see in the center, a kiwi is 93 milligrams. So just one kiwi per day is enough vitamin C for both men and women. Also, if you move your eyes down to the third row, you can see that red bell peppers and broccoli are also high in vitamin C, which is important because red bell peppers and broccoli are going to be part of our recipe for today. Here's our recipe for today. We're doing ginger garlic broccoli stir fry.
And I'm going to put a link to this recipe in the chat so people can reference it later.
Wonderful. Thank you, Matt. And here's our instructions here. I'm just going to point out a couple on the ingredient side. So again, we're going to have our broccoli. We're going to have our red bell peppers, which are both high in vitamin C, carrots, as well as ginger and garlic.
And now we have a video of Sam demonstrating the recipe. Do you want to add any flavor to it before we start the video, Sam? Any intro for it?
Nope, I think we're ready to go.
All
Thank you,
right.
Matt.
You're welcome.
Doesn't appear to be any sound, Matt.
Oh, no sound?
On my end, no.
All right, let me see. Sorry about that. I'm going to switch to the speakers and see if it works.
There's some slight whispering or something. It's like it's trying to say the sound.
Yeah, I'm not hearing any audio, Matt.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. What if I were to try subtitles? Would that work possibly?
Yeah, I think that
Would that be
that
an
would be
option? We could
okay.
try that.
Are you playing it from the slide?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yep, whatever you want to do.
Should I try it through YouTube?
I would try it through YouTube. I think that might
All
work.
right, okay. Okay, let's see what we got here. Sorry, folks, it's skipping. Apologize for that. We're going to see if Mara can send it through her computer, see if that works better. So just bear with us. Thanks,
Yeah,
Mara.
Sorry about that, folks. Let me try.
Technology, it's a blessing and a challenge.
All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Samantha Hanselman. I'm the JS1 nutrition educator for the Food Bank of the Southern Tier. And today we're going to make ginger garlic broccoli stir fry. So let's take a look at our ingredients here first. So we have 2 carrots, probably wondering why this one's purple. This was a pack of rainbow carrots to get some different colors going on in here. So I chose a purple carrot and I chose a yellow carrot. So you'll need 2 carrots about that size. You'll need 1 bell pepper. You can use any color that you'd like, but I chose red just to get a good variety of different colors in here. You'll need a small onion, 2 florets of broccoli, some soy sauce. Ideally, if you have a low sodium soy sauce, go with that. You'll also need an oil of some sort. Here I have olive oil that I can measure with this. It has measurements up here on the side. I also have some garlic. This is pre-minced garlic that's packed in olive oil. I also have a ginger root here. Half a cup of water. And then I brought in some salt and pepper for extra seasoning. So the first step here is we want to heat our oil in a pan. So we want to turn our heat all the way up to high. And then we want to measure out 2 teaspoons of oil, either olive oil or regular vegetable oil. It's about 2 teaspoons there. So we're going to take our oil and we're going to put it in our pan. And we're going to let that heat up for 2 minutes. So our next step is we want to start slicing and preparing our vegetables. So I have an onion here that I took and I chopped in half. And I'm going to use my mandolin here to finely slice it. You can also do this with a knife. There. We have some wonderful thin slices. They need broken apart a little bit. Our next step is to use a similar tactic for our carrot here. So I got my purple carrot. We're just going to thinly slice that. So I'm going to make it a little thinner here. I'm just going to make thin sliced rounds of this carrot. We're going to do this with both carrots. There we go. Some wonderful carrot rounds. So the next step here is we're going to finely slice our bell pepper. So again, I'm going to use my mandolin just so everything's nice and uniform. It saves me a little bit of time. And we're going to get these beautiful, thin, uniform slices. Wonderful. And these are going to cook very quickly and very nice because they're very thin and uniform. So a bit of a disclaimer with the mandolin. If you do have a mandolin or you're thinking of getting a mandolin, definitely don't let your kids use this. If you have kids, this is a very, very sharp blade. You can cut meat with it. So it's very, very sharp and you can really easily cut your finger off. With some things, you can actually stab them through with this. And then that protects your hand while you are slicing. So definitely be cautious, be aware, and make sure you're paying a lot of attention when you're using this type of equipment. So as you can see here, I went and I chopped our broccoli up. It's chopped pretty small little bite-sized pieces. Oops. And then I went and I minced my ginger. So my ginger's minced right here. And as you can see, I have my onions, my peppers, and my carrots. And we're going to get ready to stir fry all these together. So I have my oil heated up here, and I'm going to go ahead and add my onions right to the oil. You should hear a really nice sizzling when you pop them in there. That's how you know your oil's hot and ready to go. So I went ahead and I added our ginger here, and then we're going to go ahead and add our broccoli and our carrots and then our water. And then we're going to put a lid on it and we're going to let it steam. So I just removed the lid after adding my water and I let everything steam, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our bell peppers and our soy sauce. So I went ahead and I added our bell peppers and the soy sauce and I covered it up again, and I'm letting that steam for a couple minutes. Here is the finished product. You can see I served this with a rice, and I also tossed cashews into my rice to add a little nuttiness to the dish. And yeah, it's wonderful for families, wonderful for kids. Get a lot of different colors of veggies in there. So give it a try.
Thank you, Mara. And thank you, Sam. That was very wonderful looking and wonderful narration. Makes me
Thank you,
hungry.
Matt. Thank you, everybody. I hope that you give that a try and that you really enjoy it. Again, that recipe link, it will be in the chat. So if you're interested in trying that recipe, go ahead and click on that link and save it for later. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. All right. Good eating, physical activity, cornerstones of health. Now I'd like to invite Caitlin Price, our Health and Nutrition Programs Manager, to talk to us about physical movement and mindfulness.
Thank you, Matt. And hi, everyone. Thanks for having us tonight. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit today about kind of two types of physical activity and movements. We're going to talk a little bit about exercise and then a little bit about general movement. So when we're talking about exercise, as most of us know, we're talking usually about a physical activity that we are doing really intentionally, right? We're setting aside half an hour, 45 minutes to go and do some physical activity with the goal of improving our physical fitness. So, and then as opposed to movement, which is, I tend to think of movement as kind of small ways that we can incorporate movement and just moving our body in ways that feel good throughout the day. So we're going to start kind of on the exercise side of things. So the Department of Health and Human Services recommends about 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity aerobic activity for all adults. So the aerobic activity is usually what we think of when we think cardio. So anything that gets your heart rate up a little bit counts, whether that's, we typically think running when we think cardio, but walking, swimming, biking, even chores around the house can count for that as well. And then in addition to that, they also recommend that we do at least 2 days a week of any type of muscle strengthening activity. And again, these don't necessarily have to be insanely rigorous activities. It just has to be anything that makes your muscles work a little bit harder than normal. If they're tired afterwards, that's usually a good sign. And move to the next slide, Matt. Thank you. So to break this down just a little bit further, there are 4 really important types of exercise for us all to be thinking about. So of course, aerobic, which we just talked about, that's generally our cardio. And the benefits of aerobic exercise is that it reduces our blood pressure, reduces inflammation in the body, and it also reduces chronic disease risk. So getting that 150 minutes a week in of some type of aerobic exercise has scientists have proven that 150 minutes is about the level that significantly lowers our risk for chronic diseases. So that 150 minutes of any type of activity that gets your heart rate up is going to be a really good idea for everyone. And so that could be, like I mentioned, we think running a lot of time. It could also be dancing. It could be aggressive cleaning, hiking, whatever it is that you like to do that gets your heart rate up counts as aerobic activity. So there's a lot of flexibility there, which is really nice. You can tailor it to kind of your own strengths and what you like to do. And then moving into our second type of exercise here is strength training. So strength training, the benefits of that is that it increases our muscle strength. It promotes bone health and bone growth. And it also helps us with our balance and posture. So usually when we're thinking any type of strength exercise, there has to be some form of resistance. So that could be weights, it could be resistance bands, or it could even be body weight. Anything that gets your muscles working and they feel a little bit sore and tired after counts and falls into our strength exercise category. And then these bottom 2 tend to be the ones that we don't think of quite as much when we're thinking about physical fitness, but they're equally important. So flexibility is a huge part of physical fitness, especially when it comes to preventing injuries and joint pain, right? When our muscles are tight, they're pulling on our joints in ways that they're not supposed to, and they're not allowing our joints to move through their full range of motion. So having flexibility is going to make all of our other types of movement feel a lot better. So that could be anything from just stretching to yoga, anything that kind of gets your body moving and your muscles stretching. And then lastly, this might be kind of the most overlooked, I would say, exercise type I know in my own life. This is the one that I focus on the least, but stability exercises. So especially as we get older, stability exercises are really important. And essentially stability is anything that improves your balance. And a lot of times this is focused on core strength as well. So when I think of stability exercises, I think of things that make us use multiple groups of muscles at once. So for example, when we're doing strength training, maybe we're doing bicep curls with a weight. We're focusing really specifically on isolating just that bicep muscle. Whereas when we're thinking about stability exercises, something like a plank or maybe lunges, where we're having to use more muscle groups to kind of keep our body stable, or like with a lunge where you're kind of moving through a range of motion while you're doing the strengthening exercise, that's going to help us a lot with our balance, because all of those stabilizing muscles are going to have to be working at the same time. And even things like just walking on uneven ground can help with stability and just activating those kind of stabilizing muscles. So those are our 4 types of exercise that we can kind of think about. And I really just want to emphasize that you can choose what works best for you within each of those categories. All right. So in thinking about our physical activity goals, it can be really helpful to kind of set some goals for yourself when trying to improve your physical fitness. And like I mentioned, all movement is good movement. So there's no one right way to exercise. If you're not a runner, I know I personally am not a runner. You do not have to be a runner. You know, whatever feels good to you within those categories is good to do, and, you know, can achieve your goals by, you know, just following what feels good to your body. So when you're setting a physical activity goal, try to assess your starting point and set an attainable goal. I know for me, when I have set, you know, goals like that I'm going to work out every single day of the week for an hour, it doesn't usually come through for me. But, you know, figure out where you're at. And if that's 20 minutes a week right now, maybe next week it's 40 minutes a week and you're adding stability exercises. You know, if you're already at 100 minutes a week, you know, move up from there. So assess your starting point and figure out what's like a small and reasonable step that you can take in the right direction. And then I think another really good thing to think about is just to center your goals around the health benefits or how you want your body to feel versus how you want your body to look. I know a lot just with the messages that we receive in our culture, especially in this country, there's a lot of messaging around, you know, exercising to change how your body looks. And that tends to really introduce kind of an element of shame into physical activity, into an activity that should be joyful and feel good to us. So the more we can kind of keep in mind that, you know, we're exercising for health benefits or how it's going to make us feel, the better. And then, like I mentioned, choose activities that you truly enjoy. So these are some questions that you can kind of think through to figure out what exercises might feel good to you. So switching gears just a little bit from that kind of intentional planned exercise, like I mentioned, movement in general can be really helpful for us as well. So obviously this can be a very sedentary culture. A lot of Americans sit 8 to 9 hours a day, and 25% of Americans in the US are considered physically inactive. So, you know, a lot of us maybe have desk jobs, or, you know, even just in the winter time, the couch can feel really inviting. I know that's definitely how I feel. So finding small ways to move, especially when you know you're going to have a long period of sitting or being more inactive, can be really helpful. And so even just those little bits of movement throughout your day, in addition to just kind of feeling good, can bring a lot of health benefits. So increasing your circulation, it can help with improving focus, which is, you know, a good case for taking breaks throughout your workday to move a little bit. These kind of movement breaks help with better posture. It can help to decrease anxiety, and it helps to put us in a better mood. So even 3 to 4 minutes of movement and stretching per hour can help. So now, just with a couple extra minutes here, I'm just going to take us through a quick little exercise and stretching that you can do anytime to just take a break, whether you're working or you've just been sitting for a while. And I'll do this kind of in an abbreviated form, but you can always take more or less time depending on, you know, the time that you have available to you. And just even these little bits of movement can really make a big difference. So if you'd like to participate, this will just be for a few minutes. So feel free to turn your cameras off if you feel more comfortable participating. But we'll go ahead here and just start with a few deep breaths. So make sure as you're taking these deep breaths to breathe all the way down into your stomach. A lot of times throughout the day, we're only using the top third of our lungs. So if you feel your stomach kind of expanding under your hand, that's a good sign that you are breathing all the way down to your bottom of your lungs. So science says that about 10 deep breaths is what it takes to kind of reset our neurological activities and really see those kind of improved focus and improved mood benefits from these deep breaths that we're taking. So continue with those deep breaths as we start to move through a few of these stretching exercises. And you're welcome to stay seated or stand, whatever feels good to you. So while we're continuing with those breaths, we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So start rolling your shoulders up to your ears and forward. Let's go with about 4 of those, continuing with those deep breaths. And when you've got your 4, you can go ahead and reverse that and go back. Just starting to get our shoulders loosened up. They tend to creep up towards our ears as we're doing our thing throughout the day. Awesome. And once you have 4 that way, we're going to do something called cat and cow. So if you're familiar with yoga, you might have done something like this before. So you're going to start off by curving your spine and dropping your chin down toward your chest so that your spine is curving outward. You can take a deep breath in this position. And then you're going to drop your head back, push your hips back so that you're curving the other direction, and continue with those deep breaths, just kind of getting a little bit flexible in our spines here. And move through that motion a couple of times. Awesome. And once you finish there, we're going to start to get our necks involved as well. So you can drop your ear down to your left shoulder, just until you feel a slight strain in the side of your neck. And take a few deep breaths in this position. Wonderful. And when you're ready, you can move to the right side. Just feeling a slight stretch in the side of our neck here. And a few deep breaths here as well. All right. And then we're going to move to our side body. So I'm going to stand for this. You can do this seated or standing. We're going to reach up our right arm and push it to the left side. And we don't want to turn our hips this way. We want to keep our hips facing forward, just so that we can feel that stretch down our ribs into the hip bone. And we'll take a few deep breaths here as well. Wonderful. Moving to the left side when you're ready, keeping those hips facing forward. Great. And then when you're ready, we're just going to come into a forward fold. So we don't have to be stretching too far down, just as far as feels comfortable. And you can let your head and your arms kind of dangle down toward the floor. And again, you could do this from seated as well. And when you're ready, you can fold back up, stretch up toward the ceiling, and you can return to seated. So this is just a nice, quick kind of series of stretches and exercises so you can move throughout your day, just to kind of give yourself a minute to check in with yourself, reset yourself a little bit and get your body moving, your blood flowing, and hopefully feel a little bit relaxed as well. So again, that could be shorter than we did it here in our time together, or longer depending on what time you have. But even these little bits of movement are really, really beneficial in all kinds of ways. So thank you for participating in that. I appreciate everyone going through the process with me, and I will turn it back over to Matt.
Thanks, Caitlin. I feel like I just got a shot of espresso in the evening. Could be up all night. Thank you. All right, so to wrap things up, Mara is going to present some social and volunteer activities for your consideration. Take it away, Mara.
Thank you very much. So staying social and keeping in a good mindset in the winter can be very challenging. We've seen ways through, lack of sunlight, through wanting to be more indoors more because of the weather. It's so important to find activities that you enjoy that can be done over the winter months to keep you in that good mindset, keep your body moving, and just to have a good social and mental mentality like over the winter months. So here I just have a couple different options that you can choose to incorporate into your winter months. So first off is staying active with friends and family, and Caitlin just gave a variety of great methods that you can do that. So if you like participating in winter activities, if you like the sledding, the snowshoeing, different things like that, definitely take in the season and enjoy some of those activities as they come around once a year. Walking or taking a hike in the winter is also really nice. But of course, with all of these activities outdoors, we just want to make sure we're doing them when it's not too cold out. You don't want to hurt yourself in any way because of the weather. So it's good to consider that as well. But a great way to keep active as well by staying indoors if you want to do a virtual exercise group or another kind of method like that, or do some of those great stretches and exercises that Caitlin had mentioned. And you can do those solo, or you can bring all your friends and family in with that as well to keep up not only with keeping your body going, but keeping your mind going and staying social as well. Cooking a favorite meal. This is a great time of season to cook those favorite meals of yours, and that is often a very social activity. And if you are staying indoors, do things to keep your mind engaged. So doing a puzzle or a crossword, reading a book that you enjoy, or taking that time to catch up with friends or family or write letters. I know I like to give out postcards to folks, even when I'm not really going anywhere. I like to send little notes like that. And that really causes a lot of joy, both for myself and for the folks that I'm sending it to as well. And I think it's also very important for these winter months to call out, to ask for help when you need it. Again, it can be challenging to keep in a good mindset throughout these months. So I think it's really important that we're keeping in touch with folks. If we're having any difficulties, we're reaching out for help so that we're not standing alone in the challenges that we're facing. And I think that that's very important to consider all of the year, but especially during the winter months when different things like seasonal depression and stuff can be coming in as well. And we also have some more specific activities that you can participate in the emergency food system. So first off, you can go ahead and volunteer. So with volunteering at any food pantry in our service region, you can go to any local food pantry or food center directly and see if they have any volunteer opportunities for anywhere local to your neighborhood. Additionally, the food bank, if you're local to us, we have volunteer opportunities in our warehouse and at our mobile food pantries as well. So I've included the link there. You can go to our website and go to the volunteer section, and that shows you how to sign up for any food bank related volunteer activities. If you are so inclined, if you would like to donate to the food bank as well in our mission, the link there is for ways to give is also available if you're so inclined to do that. We also have a bunch of different methods of learning at the food bank as well. So we have different learning sessions for Hunger 101 and Food Banking 101. And then we also participate in a racial wealth gap simulation that we also provide to folks as well. And of course, if you yourself or anybody else who you in your life who needs to participate in the emergency food system, if you need any of those resources, as Matt had mentioned earlier, we have a find food section of our website, and that will help to point you in the right direction of any resources that you'll be needing closest to you.
Thank you, Mara. And thanks everyone for your attention. I'm taking a look at the chat to see if there's any questions at this point. Oh, wow, appreciate everyone's attention. I think at this time I'll invite Georgia to provide us with some remarks and announcements before our prayer.
Before I do the thank yous, I just wanted to say when she was talking about volunteering and donation, my pastor is on, and I know our church, Friendship Baptist, made a donation. Reverend Lori Thornton over there, she is showing her face, but not her real face. She might want to tune in. And there she is, Pastor Thornton. The church made a donation to the food bank, and the NAACP made a donation. So I'm with you. Sometimes you might not be able to volunteer, but help can come in different ways. So however we can make a contribution, we should be about that. So thank you for the reminder. And in terms of closing, on behalf of the Elmira Recording Branch of the NAACP, I want to thank the viewers for zooming in. And for those who didn't, I think they missed a good presentation. So hopefully they can see the video. For the executive committee who helped to put this together, and especially the program participants for a job well done. As you took us on a winter wellness journey that can also be applied throughout the year. It just doesn't have to be wintertime because we eat throughout the year. So we need to be doing whatever else we need to be doing throughout the year. So thank you again for your participation. And I want to say, I challenge all of us to remember that you cannot enjoy wealth if you're not in good health. So a couple announcements I want to make before I go back to you, Matt. On Saturday, the 25th of this month, we're still into Black History Month, there will be a soul food dinner at the Acme Club in Elmira, New York, and it's a scholarship fundraiser. Anybody wanting some good soul food, stop at the Acme Club and pick up a dinner. And on Saturday, the 25th, from 2 to 4:30, and that starts at 12 o'clock, the dinner. Saturday, 21st at 2 to 4:30, there'll be a celebration of Black excellence at the Ernie Davis Community Center. And that is being sponsored by the Ernie Davis Center, the NAACP, and the Program for Peace. And we are working with a lot of kids. We're hoping to have about 200 kids there. Because my belief is that if we invest in our youth, we don't have to repair so many adults. So we're going to be there helping them and having them display their talent and all in a safe environment and letting them know we care. And the last one I want to make is Sunday, the 26th. From 8 to 10, there will be live music by Top Shelf. I know many of you have heard them in Elmira, and they will be, they're doing Black history of jazz, rock and roll, and R&B, and they will be at the Elmira College Campus Center, McKenzie's. So if you're free from 8 to 10 on Sunday the 26th, you might want to stop in and hear some good music. Now, there are a few other announcements, but those are the only ones I'm going to deal with tonight because the others go further back into time. So govern yourselves accordingly to those announcements, and I hope you will support some of them if you don't do anything but pick up your soul food dinner. So thanks again for everything, and may God bless all of you. I think what you've done tonight is very helpful for us any time of the year, because we need to focus on our health. Because as I said, health is wealth. We can have all the money in the world, and if we're unhealthy, we're not even spending it effectively. I had the pleasure of hanging out with some millionaires who had some illness, and they said to me, if I could turn this money into health, it will be gone tomorrow. So thank you for the information. We will pass it on, and if we can get a copy of this video, we will encourage people to take a look at it. And because many people will call and ask, how can I go about getting SNAP, applying for SNAP or all the information? We believe if we pool these resources together, people can benefit effectively. Many times we have resources in the community, but people don't know about them, so they don't access them. So thank you so much for a job well done. And at this time, I think I've talked enough. I'll turn it back to you, Matt.
Thank you, Georgia. To close our time together, I invite Elder Jackson to bring us to prayer.
Thank you and blessings. Gracious Father, we thank you for the opportunity you've given us to participate together in this effort. As we leave this place, surround us with your love. Let our total effort reflect you and benefit your children everywhere. We thank you, God, for this presentation and for the concerted effort of the Food Bank of the Southern Tier and the NAACP for what they've provided us. These blessings we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, amen.
Thank you, Elder Jackson, and thank you all. Good night and good health to you all.
Thank you
God
so
bless.
much.
Say good night.
Good night.
Everybody.
Good night.